School Freeware's Excel 2007 Tutorials. Tutorial 3. Calculations, Functions, and Formulas, Part 1 of 2. The agenda for both parts of the videos includes showing how to use calculations, functions, and formulas, showing the order of operations, and creating a Fibonacci sequence. The functions that are shown within the videos include, but are not limited to, the sum, average, median, power, min, max, and square root functions. The videos will end by using functions to create a decimal to octal to hexadecimal to binary conversion sheet. Excel follows the order of operations. This is sometimes taught as, "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally" within American schools. The order of operations are as follows: parentheses, exponents, followed by multiplication and division, and finishing with addition and subtraction. As you can see, the answers of these three calculations vary depending upon the order of operation. Calculations, functions, and formulas follow similar format and rules. So therefore, if you know how to use one, you basically know how to use them all. Each calculation, function, and formula starts with an equal sign, which brings us to some syntax. The first example, we have a simple calculation which we want the computer to perform. So we start with an equal sign, and then have the computer do the calculation, 8 plus 5. Next is a calculation using cell names. So here we start with an equal sign, and the computer will calculate the value of A1 minus the value of B2 plus the value within C3. Next is a function. We start with the equal sign, the name of the function, which happens to be sum, and within parentheses we have the computer sum A1 and A2 together. A1 and A2 are separated by a comma. Moving on, we have a sum of a range. So we start with an equal sign, the name, sum, and then within parentheses we have the range. So all cells starting with A1 and ending at A17 are summed up. Within this next example, we have the computer summing two ranges. So here, start with an equal sign, sum, and then within parentheses is the range A1, A17, a comma, and then the range B1, B5. Moving to Excel, first thing I'll do is increase the zoom, and we'll start with the simple calculations. 8 plus 2 times 5, get 18, equals 8 plus, and then 2 times 5 within parentheses, also 18, equal, in parentheses, 8 plus 2, close parentheses, times 5, and we get 50. If I forget the equal sign, and I'll just do 8 plus 2, nothing happens except for it's just simply printed up there on the screen. So to do a calculation, start with an equal sign. Next, we can do some calculations involving some cells. So I'll just do equal, and I'll click on A1 plus A2. Equal, A1 plus A2 plus A3 plus A4. Enter, and there we have the calculations. If you recall, in tutorial 2, we tried using a Fibonacci sequence, which started as 0 and 1. It adds the last two numbers together. So 0 and 1, we get 1. 1 and 1 is 2. 1 and 2, 3. 5, 8, and the next one should be 13. If we try to use the autofill, we get a bunch of garbage numbers. The algorithm for the autofill does not know how to finish the sequence. So therefore, we can try this again using some calculations. I'll start with 0 and 1, and this time I'll tell the computer equal, in this case, D1 plus D2, and we get the number correct. Use the autofill all the way down, and we see that now the computer can take that calculation, and using the autofill, I'll just hit Control accent mark, and you see here are the calculations the computer autofilled. So we have D1, D2, D3, D4 all the way down. Moving on to some functions, we'll just go ahead and play around with it real quick. So I'll go up and click get the auto sum. If I don't want A1 through D1, I can override the computer by clicking and holding and say I want to sum up this column. So now the column's summed up. And go ahead with the sum again. And this time I'll set the range to C1 through 13. Hit the comma and highlight the next column. So we have D1 through D13 also summed with C1, C13 range. A few more examples. Work on the sum. Let's say, for example, I want A1 through A14 and also C1, and I'll hold the control key, and D1 also holding the control key, summed up. So therefore we have the range A1 through A4, C1, and D1. Try again with the sum and playing around with the shift and the control keys. I'll click on C1, hold the shift key down, click on C13, hold the control key down, click on A1, and now hold the shift key down and click on A4. So now we have the two ranges selected, and there we have it. Hit equal sign and manually type in sum A1, comma, A2, comma, C1, comma, D1, comma, and I could do it manually if I choose.